Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Susanna.
And I'm Chris.
We're hitting the trail.
And this is Whatever Wednesdays. And today we are bringing you our top 5 national parks.
Woohoo!
How many national parks have we been to? Parks, monuments, everything.
33.
33. So we're kind of, I wouldn't say we're experts, but we're well seasoned.
We have some knowledge that we'd like to share.
We have a lot of knowledge. So, and if you stay tuned to this video until the end, Susanna put together a really good national park toolkit that will help you get the most out of your national park adventures.
Tips, tricks, how to get your national park pass, and our favorite apps to explore the parks to your best ability.
Right, because we're into tech.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not really, but yes.
But it's helpful. So, okay, so we're going to give you our top 5, but like we have them in order here. We're not going to give you the number 1 first. You're going to have to wait for that. Oh, and by the way, we're not like giving anything away here, are we? Maybe they're in the top 5. Okay, so number 5, the Grand Canyon.
It's grand and it's a canyon.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome.
I think growing up, like everybody hears and learns about the Grand Canyon and thinks it's, this is an amazing thing. And then when you go step to the edge and you look down, you just go.
And so like our favorite trail at the Grand Canyon is the Rim Trail. Why? Because it goes along the edge. And everywhere, every lookout has a different view and different colors. And, you can see the Colorado River from here. You can't see it from here, but you can see, the mountains far off in the distance or whatever. It's just very cool.
So the Rim Trail, you have to take the shuttle out in the on season, and then you can drive out in the off season. We did it in November of 19, and we split it up over 2 days. It's a long walk, but mostly.
And that was just half of it. We did the other half a couple weeks ago. We did the other part a couple weeks ago, and it was just.
We've actually been to the Grand Canyon twice now. We did one 2 weeks and one
day.
1 day. So you can see both those videos. We'll put them up here.
But yeah, if you only have 1 day, do the Rim Trail.
All right, so it doesn't matter when you go to the Grand Canyon. It's beautiful any time of year.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing you are going to see pretty much regardless of season is elk.
They're everywhere. We stayed at the Trailer Village and RV park, and they were drinking the water off of people's water.
Yeah, if you don't connect your faucets all the way, they will find leaking water anywhere.
So as far as facilities, the Grand Canyon, I think pretty much tops them all. It has everything you need. If you want to go to the market, you go to the Market Plaza. They have a grocery store that also has t-shirts and shoes and hiking gear and gloves and hats and snacks and bank and a post office and you name it, it's there. Tell them about the village.
So there is lodging at the Market Plaza area, but if you kind of want to, I guess, upgrade your life a little bit, if you go to the village, you've got the El Tovar Hotel, I believe it's called. You've got other lodging over there. There's cabins, like you step out of your door and you walk 10 feet and you're overlooking the rim. And I don't know how expensive those are, but anyway, but they've got nice restaurants, more shops, and more shops.
And that's also, if you're interested, where the head of the Bright Angel Trail is.
Yep.
So that's the one that goes down into the canyon, and then you can spend the night at the Phantom Ranch and then climb back out.
And that's where the train from Williams stops too. So
it stopped at the village, not down in the
not down at the bottom of the canyon. That would be a cool train ride though.
Yeah.
Only the donkeys go down there. So you've got that, and then you have the visitor center.
So the visitor center is pretty cool. It's the main visitor center for the South Rim. It has the visitor center, information, history. You can talk to the rangers to find out what tours you want to do. You can rent bikes there. There's a little snack bar. There's a coffee shop, a couple other things there. And this is out by Mather Point, which is a pretty cool site, which is on the Rim Trail.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing, if you are interested in doing Grand Canyon tour, plenty of options. Helicopters, jeeps. You can take your bike and tour it.
Donkeys.
Well,
I guess they're mules. Are they mules or donkeys? Anyway, you can take a equine animal down to the bottom.
Right.
There's something for everybody at the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line. Number 4, Teddy Roosevelt National Park.
This man loves history, so I believe that plays a little bit into this
Okay, so
national park.
Teddy Roosevelt. So this is in North Dakota, in Medora. Teddy Roosevelt, he started it all, right? So he's the guy. And if you want to know where the guy really got the motivation to preserve nature and wildlife, even though he was a hunter and stuff, but he was into preservation and keeping things, it's where he lived.
So what did Teddy Roosevelt start? You said he started it all. What is that?
National parks. He's kind of the guy.
Oh, okay.
The guy
Yeah.
is Teddy Roosevelt. So I think, because I love history, like she said, the historical significance of Teddy Roosevelt National Park. But you've got different units. You've got the North, the South, and then the Elkhorn Ranch. It's not your favorite. So what do you like about Teddy Roosevelt?
So my favorite part about this is the wildlife. We saw buffalo at sunrise.
Bison.
I'm sorry, but I learned buffalo, and it's hard to get that out of your
Stupid
head when you
Americans.
learned buffalo. So yeah, if you take the scenic drives, there's a 14-mile one out at the North Unit. There's a 36-mile route out at the South Unit, and then there's the drive to Elkhorn Ranch. You're gonna see wildlife. And we saw, herds of buffalo crossing the street everywhere. Go around the corner. There's more buffalo. There's more buffalo. There's more buffalo. It was just crazy. It was our first time really seeing a lot of buffalo, and we expected that to be at every national park.
So Teddy Roosevelt National Park was our first one. And like she said, when you drive in, it's wildlife everywhere. So they have longhorn steer, they have wild horses, and then the buffalo, the bison, whatever you want to call it. And we went with our friends on the second and third day, and when we drove in the morning, to me it's still one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen in a national park. Is like she said, you're driving and you see the buffalo and the sunrise.
You're coming up over the hill, and the buffalo are on the top of the hill with the sunrise coming up behind them.
And I think, to me, because Teddy Roosevelt wanted to preserve what these parts of America were, and it wasn't just the natural landscape, it's also the animals. And so you can almost imagine hundreds of years ago seeing herds of buffalo in the grasslands. And can you tell I like it? I really like it.
You want to talk about Elkhorn Ranch?
I do.
Since we're on that.
Yeah. The Elkhorn Ranch is like an hour north of Medora, and it's a dirt road, and most of it's really well maintained. But once you get out to the end of the road, if it's rained at all, don't go out there. Always go to the ranger station and ask them, what are the roads like? We have a 4-wheel drive truck, so we weren't really worried. But anyway, so the Elkhorn Ranch is actually where Teddy Roosevelt lived for 4 years after his mother and his wife died on Valentine's Day, same year. To go out there, I went out there with a really good friend and just stand there at the place where Teddy lived. There's nothing left but 4 foundation stones. But you're still kind of in a I don't know, fenced-in area, but that's where Teddy lived. So it was really exciting for me.
So they're also, as we had our friends with us, they have 5 children ranging, at the time, they were ranging from like 3 to 14. And so we found some great hikes. There's some short hikes, there's some long hikes. The longest one, I believe, was up to 18 miles, but we didn't do that. But
No.
They really, the kids really enjoyed our hikes.
Yep.
So
So don't pass up Teddy Roosevelt National Park.
So our number 3.
This may be controversial. Not with us. We're all on the same page. I just meant this may not be ever. People might be like, why is this your number 3?
Well, everybody has their own likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
So Yellowstone. Awesome.
Right. So it's the number 1 park, and it's fitting that it's kind of right before Teddy
It's
Roosevelt.
not the number 1 park. It's not our number 1 park. It was the first park.
It's the first park. My bad. So it's the first national park, and on the north gate there's the Roosevelt Arch, which is in tribute to Teddy.
So Yellowstone is not one that you could really do in a day. I think you need probably a week minimum to see everything, because it's so huge. There are so many different landscapes and geological
Formations.
Geothermal
Wonders.
formations. So there's geysers and mud pots and paint pots and, of course, Old Faithful.
Mm-hmm. It is beautiful. I think probably the hardest part and why it's only number 3 for us.
The people. It is so crowded, and it's just so crowded. I mean, that period right there.
Yep. We also did get kind of skunked. We did see some animals, but we got kind of skunked out. Like, we were expecting wildlife everywhere.
After going to Theodore Roosevelt National Park, we're like, oh, every national park is like this.
Everywhere.
So we go to Yellowstone and we're like, crickets. There's no buffalo. We did eventually see them, but it was quite a day.
You have to go in early.
Yep.
But otherwise, I mean, it's amazing. And like
it's amazing regardless of when you go. And if there's a lot of people, well, you just have to spend a little bit longer there because you're going to be waiting in line. We did do some amazing tours while we were there.
Oh, the yellow bus tour.
The yellow bus tour is pretty awesome. We did the fire hole tour.
Mm-hmm. Which didn't work out like we thought it would because
it was raining.
It was pouring rain.
Time.
But it was still an amazing experience. The bus drivers give you a history of the whole park, but then also they walk you through whatever you're supposed to be doing. You can experience Yellowstone in so many different ways. You can do tours. You can go where all the crowds go, or you could there's lots of roads or trails that just take you out. I mean, you could get lost for weeks and weeks and weeks in Yellowstone.
Just make sure you have your bear spray.
Well, yeah, bear spray is necessary.
Number 2. Kind of for me, it was like a tie between this one and the next one for number 1.
She talks about this one all the time. I was wondering.
And it's going to be Yosemite. I mean, when you drive into the park, a lot of national parks, some of them have interesting entrances and some of them don't. But you drive into Yosemite and it's just like, after a couple miles, it's like...
it is very dramatic.
You can see El Capitan, Half Dome, the Bridal Veil Fall, and it's just like all in one picture. And you're just like, what?
And it's not like wicked easy to get to. We came in from, I believe it's the west entrance. And you drive for a while and you're like, okay. And then you come around the corner and it's right in your face. You're looking down at the valley and it's just...
It's awe-inspiring. I mean, it's just, wow.
Yeah. And the rest of the time inside the park, whether you're in the valley or going out of the sequoias, that's what it is. I mean,
the Yosemite whole thing is awe-inspiring.
It's giant.
Yeah.
So...
awesome drives, awesome hikes. I mean, there are 750 miles worth of hiking in Yosemite.
We did them all.
No, we didn't.
We did like 9 miles.
So we went in February. So some of the things weren't open because there was snow. Mm-hmm. But we'd like to go back when it's, spring or fall to experience the other things because there's so much that we didn't get to see. Yosemite Fall. I mean, there's the upper and the lower fall, mm-hmm. and it's very cool. We got some great pictures of that.
And all that's down. Like you could just spend days just down in the village, which is at the base.
Yosemite Valley.
Yosemite mm-hmm. Valley. So they've got the visitor center. They've got a museum. Lots of.
They have a post office. They have a little store. They have all kinds of little restaurants, and then they have the Ansel Adams Gallery.
The Ansel Adams Gallery offers photo tours, where they can actually take you out. I mean, if you're very experienced, they'll take you out on some experience tours. I took basically how to learn your DSLR camera, and it was a couple hours. And when you're out there, they teach you about the DSLR, but they also take you to some of the places that Ansel Adams shot from, and taught you his perspective. It was $99, something like that. So worth it. So when it's not just Yosemite's not just about like the valley, right? So there's the sequoias and...
Yeah, we did a 7-mile hike up to the sequoias because in the wintertime the shuttle's not running. So you have to park down at the Mariposa Visitor Center and then hike up.
Yeah. And
the trail itself is pretty cool. It's the Washburn Trail, so it's a dirt trail that goes along the edge up to the Mariposa
Grove.
And you see all the big trees. And then there's also a dirt trail that you can go up around and walk in amongst the big trees and go see the tunnel tree,
grizzly.
The California tunnel tree, and the grizzly.
Yeah.
So very cool. I mean, you just look at these things, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
And then as you're coming back from that, along the road back towards the valley, you come through the tunnel and you get the tunnel view. I mean, that's the overlook, the tunnel view, right?
Oh, when you're coming back from the Grove, when you're driving. back through the grove, you go through the tunnel view. And the tunnel view is where you see El Capitan, Half Dome, Bridal Veil Falls, and then whatever's back in the distance. And it's just a really, really cool shot. It's one of the most famous shots.
And if you suffer from lens envy, maybe not go there, because you've got people there with lenses just like, I mean, they can zoom into somebody's soul from 2 miles away. And you're out there like, look at my little camera. So, okay. So
or my phone. I had my phone.
And she still took great pictures. So what is our number one?
Arches.
Arches. Did you think it was going to be Arches?
You probably didn't. But Arches was our number one because, I mean, this also has a very cool drive into the park. I mean, you are driving along and all of a sudden you've got all these massive redstone rock formations, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, when you go into the park, you just see this big cliff in front of you and you're like, where are the arches at? And then you start driving up the cliff and it just keeps going and everything's red. And then when you come around that last corner,
you can see everything. I mean, there's, it's the...
Well, there's Park Avenue, which is kind of like the first thing you drive by.
Yeah, I was thinking Court of the Patriarchs, but that's the wrong park.
It's okay. Yeah, it's been to a lot.
The three...
There's the Three Gossips.
Yes, the Three Gossips, that's what it is.
I want to say Three Sisters. Anyway, yes, you come around. But Arches is well laid out, and getting to places is easy.
The hikes aren't super challenging. I mean, there are
unless
some,
you want them to be.
Unless you want them to be. But most, to see, delicate arch or balanced rock or landscape arch, those trails are very family friendly. Mm-hmm. So,
Corbin was 7 at the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And if there's something you want to do, there is a lot of handicapped accessible. Mm-hmm. There are ones that you're not going to be able really to get out just because of the way the sand and stuff is. But, I mean, it just comes down to arches, right?
Yeah.
Arches, and then more arches, different kinds of arches, these types of arches, and windows and arches.
Windows, and, it's pretty cool. It's very sandy, so be aware. I have a permanent injury from arches, but don't let that scare you. Wrong shoes.
Be careful when you're walking around balanced rock because you may become unbalanced.
Yes.
I don't know if she was going like this.
And then,
wham. Yeah, it was a long term. It's still going on. I brought up Park Avenue a little bit earlier. So Park Avenue, don't just go, well, Arches is just about arches. It's like she said, the monoliths.
It's not monoliths.
And when you walk down, you got to do the walk from Park Avenue. You walk down, and you're standing. I mean, it's a canyon basically, and it's kind of like Park Avenue. These massive monoliths by you, and
they look like giant buildings, and it's pretty cool. It's a little bit of probably more of a morning or late afternoon hike because you're going down, and it's really hot. Make sure you have sufficient water.
Lots and lots of water.
But you can hike all the way down to the end, and then somebody could pick you up in a car at the other end, or you hike all the way back up if you just have yourselves. So
true.
And no driver.
Yeah. And then, so another place that you have to go inside Arches is
the fiery furnace.
The fiery furnace.
So these are giant fins of red rock. So they kind of look like this, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of them. And the way the sun hits them at a certain time of day, it looks like they're on fire.
Mm-hmm. And so we went and did a sunset there, and you can hike in there, but you have to get a permit. And they make sure, like, when you go in that you come out, because people get lost. And because of the way the sunlight and the heat reflects off the rocks, a lot of folks have gotten heat stress and heat stroke and stuff in there, dehydration. And then, of course, there is Delicate Arch. That's
the iconic arch of arches.
There's a stamp, yeah. So there's...
It's on their license plate.
It's on their license plate, that's right.
For
yeah,
Utah.
Life Elevated.
Yep.
So there's a couple different ways. You can go down to the lower... Oh, there's...
3 different ways you can go.
Please, ma'am.
Oh, no, go ahead. You did There's the lower trail, which just kind of goes out and you get it from a distance. Then you go a little bit further, and you can get the closer up. It just depends on what kind of hiker you are. Yeah. And then there's the last one that he and Corbin did. I didn't get to do.
Yeah, so there's those viewpoints down below, and they're off in the distance. And then actually go to the arch. It's kind of a strenuous hike in certain areas. So Corbin and I did it. Like I said, he was 7. He struggled along the way for a while. There was some tears. Mm-hmm. But when we got to the end, he said it. This is worth it.
Yep.
And we got to go stand underneath the arch. But you have to be patient because everybody else is doing that.
Yeah.
And if you are afraid of heights, do not do this hike. There was a lady literally against the wall, because you're walking along a cliff that's about this wide, the trail is, against the wall crying. Her husband's trying to help her. She's screaming at him, don't touch me, don't touch me. And then you've got like this family with 2 and 3 year olds going up. So anyway, Arches is amazing.
And then one last thing, Arches is a very centrally located park. You have a lot of other things that are right in the area as well. You have Moab, which is the town that has, everything you need: restaurants, shopping, hiking, whatever.
Jeep tours, Jeep rentals, because there are so many off-road trips you can take there, and some of them are to these other parks that she's going to talk about.
Such as Dead Horse Canyon.
It's a state park.
Dead Horse State Park, sorry,
Yeah.
not Dead Horse Canyon.
It's okay.
And then Canyonlands National Park is also right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can hit 2 national parks and,
And the
State
Colorado
park.
River is right there. There's
so
tons
many
of stuff.
opportunities there. We drove along the Colorado River and you're just like looking up at these massive walls of rock. Like, wow, this little tiny river did all that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty cool.
So Arches, that's our number 1, and that's our top 5. We live in an amazing country, and to have the geographical diversity that we have, we're very, very fortunate. And these national parks, if you aren't going out and taking advantage of these national parks, you got to change that. And Susanna, like I said earlier, so she put a toolkit together that will help you. Number 1, how do I make this happen? And then when we're there, how do we get the best out of that experience? And then, whether you're looking for trails or just like tours, there's apps. So it's the whole gamut. Mm-hmm. How to get the most out of your national park experience. And if you want that, you can go to www.hintonthetrail.com, and there'll be a little pop-up thing there that'll give you the toolkit. And you can subscribe, get the toolkit. There'll also be a link to the toolkit down below in the description. I want to go see another national park like right now.
It's too late. We've waited too long. You got to go early.
You do. That's one of the tips. Go early.
Go early.
So what are your favorite national parks? Leave us a comment down below. If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, hit the thumbs up button twice. No, this doesn't work. This button's broken. Do this one twice. Yeah, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, so you know when our next video comes out.
And remember, life's an adventure. Hop on.
Thank you for watching. We'd love to share our journey with you, so hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you know when a new video is uploaded. And don't forget to leave your comments down below and hit the like button.